Hi guys, and welcome back to another video on the wrestling in the revealed and you this is my NXT what's for this week. So we start off straight away with War of Ice and Kalani Orton. We jump right into War as entrance, and I actually thought this was a decent match. He had the whole psychology and story of Woe as arm um, of Woe as arm come into play during the match, obviously kill any attack, can it right um, or right from the matches inception. Lola did have a couple of kicks offense. She also used she also used the fist in the ring as a standard punch. She ended up injuring it even further. Then later on, she goes for the spinning back fist as cool, and he's pinned up near the stage area. She tries it, but she ends up going through the stage back in the ring later on. Whoa, attempts a triangle choke. Now this was a slight botch from the referee as also his shoulder was down on the mat, but not to Orino Killer any reverses it into like an armbar or on the injured arm and then gets him in via tap out. Very good match to kick things off here. Very entertaining and yeah, we'll home on like wall of ice has grown leaps and bounds, and Kalani's heel arc has been some of the most interesting. I didn't think it would work turning Kalani Jordan heel, but it has. So that's nice to be wrong in that. So then we get Tony D'Angelo who cuts a short promo, who cuts a short promo saying he's going to take out Cutler or James and he wants Dion Lennox to be out at ringside. Of course, Lennox and Cutler or James are members of Dark. So Tony D'Angelo, this is a revenge storyline. We do get a brawl between Joe Hendry and Ricky Saints, but we'll come back to that later on. But like the match itself with Tony D and Cutler or James was essentially a skill or match situation as obviously it's a revenge match. 90 seconds, it's Cutler or James's first singles match. He has some new ring gear. Cutler or James is now in a singlet as opposed to the tights he was wearing to start off Dark's they with. It showcases his amateur background to that D'Angelo even alluded to in his short promo. Um, so yeah, it's easy to see why he's now wearing the wrestling singular. Uh, but this is a skill horse match essentially spined by a star from the former North American heritage of an NXT tag champion Tony D gets a win in about 90 seconds, as I've said. Serves its purpose, guys. I'm not totally against skill or matches if done correctly. Um, I thought it was a de- I thought it was a decent E3 showcase Tony D'Angelo. As I've said, I like the new ominous theme music D'Angelo has, and yeah, I really enjoyed this. As a theme is in the uh, uh, pre-tape promo responding to Tatum Paxley is vignette from last week. The killing sitting down to check in with her and spears and they say what's going on as and as it tells that Tatum's incapable of change. She's incapable of evolving every version that Tatum Paxley will see as they aim retaining the title. So next week, um, next week we are getting as a Dame versus Tatum Pax. Yeah, but back to the whole Joe Hendry stuff. Um, J- Joe Hendry comes out to the ring. He calls out Rick. He says it ain't no singing or dancing. I just want to get her ass tonight. Ricky Saints is up on this age, up on the power platform, but this the age for clarification. Um, and he talks about how you need to be good to working, how you need to be a star, and how he's the next WWE star. Joe Hendry used to my belt, etc. And now we have him as champion. Joe would then for I am back with family being him in social media as are but I'm something you're not or NXT champion and at vengeance to a the vengeance they are on you in a match. So we will get a match between Saints and Joe Hendry. Now this is probably the smartest move he can do at the moment because both have momentum and both are your biggest stars at the moment in terms of NXT and main event caliber. Um, so in the debate you see Shiloh or how you see Shiloh how getting talked up by Hankinta. I Shiloh says he's ready to take the belt from um he's ready um he's ready to take the belt from Ethan Page because he gets an NXT North American Championship match actually later on in the show. Hank and Tank give him some encouragement. He ends up um he ends up talking gibberish about space and time. And yeah, I do actually quite like Shiloh. Oh, he's got a decent um he's getting decent in the ring performance. Um they've changed the theme music, so this is a second iteration. We'll get back to the match later on, but the next match on the card, guys, the next match on the card, guys, is the NXT Speed Championship. Um, number one contenders tournament bracket competition, semi-final round, uh, final round to determine the winner for the shot again and Jasper Churro for the speed um championship. So the um so high flying offense from both Elio Phil and Eli Knight. This would probably work better as a stand-up match. I don't really like this its concept as you guys know. Both have a lot of ability and both have a lot of ability and promise. Obviously, with Phil having competed in Triple and Eli Knight as part of the Evolve and reality of wrestling programs. So yeah, there's an interesting mix here, but yeah, it ends as a draw as the time it expires. Robert Owen says he's um or Robert Stone says normally the championship would automatically be defended would automatically be retained by the champion Jasper Royce or as a time limit has expired in the final match of the number one contenders tournament. But next week, I'm adding 7 minutes and I'm making it a triple threat match. Troy versus Phil versus Knight for the speed um, championship, something that's never been done before, and he wants to do something different. So again, you've got two high flyers going up against Zinpo and Jasper Troy. There's an extra term, and it's a standard speed championship match. It's a 8 to 5 minutes. It is the tournament um where the bracket matches are 3 but because there's a triple threat next week, Stones are added an extra 2 minutes onto the championship match, so 7 minutes. This is to and into my Swift and but yeah, we'll move on. Yeah, I'll trying to do something with the speed championship, something a bit different. I just don't really like the whole speed concept. Usually you get on superstar just rushing the other, and that's something I don't really like about the speed. I took as a cut off my match creativity. So then we get to a backstage segment of your Ayako honors to the child lady, saying to them, off right, and um, if you didn't know the of rights for um of second generation wrestlers, so you get right on us as a explained in past review as is unfit Finland. Charlie says Regal's on you have Ariana Grace, who's the daughter of Santino Marella. You you have X's Ang, who's the son of Brian Pillman, the way Brian Pillman, and you've got Channing Staxel or Enzo, who's the both Ape and real life fiance of Ariana Race. So yeah, but the upright member of LMU Riot on as him as faces on Mata Agpa partner and friend Il Action as his first match to prove him to prove himself. Obviously obviously yeah, the Anna asks how come Axe hasn't got to play with himself. And then Axe says, I'm Aryan in. Obviously, obviously this harkens back to Stax losing the TNA International Championship at TNA in 07 and to extreme hell. So yeah, so there could be a bit of tension in yeah, but in terms of Charlie, say he said it for think about it, we get that sort of we do get that sort of character development with you know both you or I on us and Charlie Dempsey talking about their fathers being friends and about honors and action hanging out together as and I really enjoyed that, and I really do enjoy the off-right as a faction. I've also have Ariana race show up with the TNA Knockouts Championship. She defeated the former Zio Yi and Yi for the TNA Knockouts Championship. And I have to actually say she looked carry 18 right she carries herself like a star. She's got what all it takes to be a top star. I know lot of people love the idea on her, but like she's good at comedy, she's good in the ring, and she's got a really vicious streak. She can also be the snobby away. It is he Hugh I know with that as well. She's just a well-rounded performer. Um, and um, it's basic guys select gorgeous one last year, right? And yeah, so yeah, so that's a state of um, for the off right. So then we get to so then we get to sort of uh and um so then we get to sort of uh and Aria having an argument Aria say you stole I think oh or I'm sick of you getting all the opportunities but off. Oh, that was after us, and that was after on Anne and but of H and Joe Hendry from the Houghton um um around the Houghton so the and you see fit to one filling amount after the Right, JC and says she's wanted to them actually so uh or ages she's she's okay but so I in all the opportunity is saving go or the opportunity to here in John Cena's final night the company she get JCG and said she get rid of idolizing John Cena in her whole life and she is that it's unfair that so got that opportunity as she was champion Fallon Henry with the interject by saying she's NXT women's champion, but so was voted as women's superstar. of the superstar of the year. She would then actually continue to say and and said she held both the TNA Knockouts Championship and NXT Championship at the same time. She's a two-time NXT champion. She's, she also beat Stephanie McMahon, who's now a WrestleMania main event, or for the who's who's now potentially going to be a WrestleMania main event enter for the belt, who's also world champion, and she's spoke about appearing in the Royal Rumble, but all the talk still was about so each in the final three so use some moments, and it's going to be satisfying to eat. So, oh, uh, um, so, the so obviously, when you read that, actually said even though so never on the little humble people couldn't stop falling over her, and then she would and say it's going only be so satisfying to beat so and then at the weathering so comes out and she says to JC the reason why you are feeling unfulfilled is you compare yourself to everyone else, even into toxic action you will like to fun to be you should give gone so you've gone from being toxic to it oh but you've always had your own eyes if you've never on anything for yourself and and sooner or later you'll find out that I'm tolerant this alteration with the then lead to fatal influence attack and so um attacking so in a 3-on-1 situation you'd then actually you'd then actually sees area amount of momentary hesitation to speak for when takes out any rate and and she takes out she takes out Jesse Jane Affinef for she helps Soluk at her feet, hugs and that temporarily means zero. I expect the come to happen next to Econ and then next during the title match over of JC Jane, and I think the JC Jane solo camera match will be really good. It'll be the highlight of the episode next week, but then we get to the Fatal 4-Way tag team match. Hank and Tank OTEM Hank and Tank OTEM so I bright the va and the taper project and and va and since years from the oh and everybody gets offense and it is a really good match, but eh, um, ultimately it's Brad Bale from so Brighton that gets a pin fall and gets a shot next to Ika or a Ayes and Sugar from the Arcs. Now, I'm not really too against so bright, but yeah, and it's heel versus heel. So yeah, I'm not really too fond of this. It's as in obviously Tony D'Angelo's gonna cause darts anyway because remember as I've said, he's in an revenge storyline with the Archduke, so the this would carry through and kinda make sense, but the choice and opponents for Darkseid, I'm not really too fond of at the moment. So right, just don't really do anything for me. But I'd Bale or looks like somebody from Saved by the Bell, to be honest. But maybe so. But I'll Rowan Jackson did get involved again. Um, so yeah, there's that to consider, and yeah, in the main event, guys, in the main event, guys, it's Ethan Page versus it's Ethan Page versus Shiloh Hill, but before we get to the main event, guys, you get Bill Aikman and Nora O and Fallon Henry and Roberts owns Office Roberts owns as are trying to put together are trying to put together the women's speed tournament, but I could to give you some different entries foul and so it's like Fallon Henry he'll have a title defense coming up soon. I think it's a disc race. She's in the background. I think she's the best all round performer. She's very technical sound. She can do both ace and heel. She's good at roles. She's passionate um and she's very marketable. She just needs to get big given the chance again. Um, obviously, obviously, but well, it can and the oh as old. She's got to face yeah, heel next to eat and in the tournament like uh, and I feel like this is kind of like beneath another or I don't know if she's pissed off management or anything. Although she did appear delighted to win a chief for rival and storyline of Austria Ada Park or is out after or that attack. So so yeah, but I don't know if behind the scenes, she's pissed off somebody. The speed title was beneath her, and in fact, it's beneath Fallon Henry as well in her own right. I don't really see the point in either speed title, but it is what it is. It's a thing on the show. I'm just together and that will see Fallon back in the rings and because she's kind of disappeared into the background. And then the main event, guys, Ethan Age defeats Shiloh. However, I interference from the Vanity Project. The Vanity Project are all over the show that and kill some right bright by the way. So yeah, I'm actually I'm actually getting a bit sick of them, but obviously they've been kind of teaming up for if Ethan Page as of late. Obviously they exposed the obviously they exposed the ringside or by ripping away the mats. It was it's the Ethan Page hitting it to a steed or a and on Shile Hill on the film or it's an easy pin after the and Ethan Page retains Shile will gets a good amount of offense and then there is something intriguing about them but they're still um but they still need to go all the way with this character the whole jeans and the whole jeans and the film annual presentation reminds me of a sort of real high-esque character, the softly spoken Shiloh O'Hill, Shiloh O'Hill, kind of reminds me of that. But yeah, just before the match actually happened, we do get a confrontation with Miles on and Shiloh O'Hill. Obviously, Miles wants a shot at Page, and over Shiloh O'Hill says won't like the fight I've got. Um, so it was a bit of a surprise to see Miles on a mountain hill actually stop the attack on Hill after the match. I use and then Ethan Page with the end them and the title shot Page with 10 or Shiloh or to or she's a traitor and I also upset and Ethan's on uh, and then and Ethan and so I give I use threatens to re is a and oh it's like okay I've got them arch and then I use sell or send it and say and then Ethan says um I see enough see yeah, I knew you were going to, you don't have to, oh, or, and, and you wouldn't ever done that, and the, and I was on for, I know it has an option, absolutely opposite the tree here, and, the, ends are very with the episode the NXT. I'm gonna give it a 7.5. Oh, I'm not a fan of the host. It on set. I'm not a fan of oh, it. Another oh, involved in that tournament, and I'm actually not a fan. I'm actually not a fan of a vanity project and so I pray. But other than that, guys, actually, I thought it was a good show. 7.5, much better than the order. Is a slight watching the all and Killarney match, but otherwise it was a good match. Um, and yeah, and yeah, lots of solid action, even the tag team fatal four in match I thought was good. Just the choice and was is a bit questionable. Tony D looks bad as obviously in that and that sort of role was with what's it ease the confrontation with Dion or Enox with any finality either dark we have no Enox we got teaser the violence Tony D'Angelo as well I want to Philip he almost used to this he also know Enox but James drags him over yeah so I enjoyed that uh, um but yeah very but yeah very with them or I just I should do a bit more of a foul in him yeah and but because foul and as the best of the S or on NXT she's just as been a background character ever since JAC got the NXT women's title, but I can never since she became another since Fallon became the women's champion. So yeah, pretty good episode, but there is room for improvement. There is room for improvement in NXT. You get Joe Hendry versus you could get Joe Hendry versus you could get Joe Hendry versus Zurich. Same at Vengeance. You also get you also Sean uh, Sig Owner up against Yano Harvard to eat so that way another interesting match. It's very um two very different styles of wrestling like and yeah we do get some background on Kia and Harvard as to why I used to like that but I'd ask Alex or but yeah, guys, overall, I really enjoyed the show. 7.5 is about here because there is some issues, but overall, I enjoyed it. I share subscribe, and I'll see you all again very soon. Check out my raw review from yes, and I'll see you all Edison on channel.